And welcome to the Take a Breather podcast with Stacy Every and Eric Almeida. We are certified emotional freedom technique practitioners, and on this podcast, we discuss how EFT can improve your mental and physical health by bringing real healing to the body and to the mind. We also have different types of practitioners visit us on the show to tell us about their methods and how they can facilitate deep healing. As always, if you're in need of support, you can always contact Stacy or myself, and we can help guide you on your path of personal healing. Our contact information are in the show notes. And please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, like and subscribe to us on YouTube. That helps the podcast out a ton. And today we would like to introduce Shalin Desai. He is an international instructor and director of programs at the Art of Living International Foundation. He has facilitated breathwork and meditation masterclasses for over 20 years in 20 countries, including Fortune 500 companies like Microsoft, Salesforce, Accenture, Dell, BCG, and more. And he is also a mechanical engineer with a specialty in supply chain management based out of Indianapolis. So you do a lot. So welcome so much to the podcast.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. Thanks, Eric, and thanks, Stacy.
You're quite welcome. So Stacy, take the first question.
Yeah, so it's so nice to meet you. And can you tell us who you are and what it is that you do?
So, Stacy, as Eric had mentioned, I've been teaching this breath workshop for quite a few years, breathing exercise and all with the Art of Living Foundation. And it's my passion. So I do have a job. I have a day job. I'm a mechanical engineer. But I did this program about 1997. I did this Art of Living program for the very first time. And to be honest, many times people come to this kind of things, breath work or meditation stuff, where there's some adversity or they're looking to get something in their life. For me, it was very different. I came to Art of Living and I learned this breathing exercise and all. I mean, I was not looking for anything, to be honest. I was happy. I was 16 years old when I did it for the first time. And life was good. I had good friends. I was enjoying life and all that. So things were good for me. So I was not actually looking for anything in particular. But what got me into it was my mom. Actually, I'm very close with my mom. And I remember at that time, my mom had a small episode of depression. And when she was going through it, it was very painful for me to actually watch it, go see her go through it. And she was taking some medications and all. But over a period of so many years now, I've learned that many of these things like depression, anxiety, and all, I believe the medications just treat the symptoms. They actually don't get to the root cause, to the bottom of it. And that's what I was saying. You see her eyes were sinking. She was not able to get proper sleep and so on. And I would pray that, get her out of this thing. I did not know what to do, actually. And then my aunt, she had done this Art of Living Sky. She had done the Sky Breath meditation that we teach in the Art of Living programs. And she got my mom into it. And I still remember that vividly. This many years ago, vividly remember my mom coming back home from that course. It was like, those days it used to be a 5-day course. Now it's only 3 days. Coming back on the last day, and I saw her, and I'm like, whoa! I know the smile on her face was back. The glitter in her eyes were back, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. And my mom, being mom, she didn't stop there. She got me, my brother, my dad, everybody into it. So that's how I got introduced to this thing, and I've been practicing this for 24 years now, and it's been a phenomenal journey, actually, just phenomenal.
How lovely to have exposure to this at such a relatively young age. My gosh. I mean, I'm not sure I'd heard of meditation when I was 16, but it didn't even occur to me to try it. And it didn't have, but I mean, I could see where watching such a transformation with with the parent who you were worried about would really impress on you so early on how beneficial and wonderful it is. So how great that you were able to I can think of a lot of times in my teenage years where I wish I knew how to meditate.
Yeah.
Because, all the angst of teenagers, and having that chance to use meditation for, anxiety and depression and self-regulation would have been great. So awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So it's also, you made a point too, how so often people do find meditation because they're specifically looking to get themselves out of, some kind of difficulty. and you happen to have, a parent who had the difficulty. But I know that, so I'm just going to jump to a point that I've had a lot of conversations with clients about. A lot of people are like, I know I should meditate. I know I wish I could meditate. I know it would be good for me to meditate, but I don't know how to start, and I don't know, I'm not good at it. I try to do it and I fail. So I guess one thing I'd like to ask is, I think people have a certain idea of what meditation is. And if you can kind of talk about like some of the common misconceptions people have about meditation and what it's supposed to be, because I think that hampers a lot of people from even trying it and then feeling like they're failing at it also.
So actually, that's a great question. I firmly believe that this day and age, the pace at which we're living our life and all the things that we are going on for us, I don't think meditation is a luxury or something that you want to kind of get into anymore. It's a necessity. It's something we all need to do. We have to have these tools in our life, actually. I'll share a funny story about this. Like many years ago, long time ago, this is professor who was walking by the river, and he's walking by the river, and he sees this fisherman, and he tells the fisherman, I'll pay you $50. Can you please take me to the other side of the river? So the fisherman says, yeah, of course, why not? So they both sit in the boat, and 5 minutes into the boat ride, the professor is very inquisitive. You know how usually the professors are very inquisitive. So he asked this fisherman, hey, dude, do you know anything about physics and the laws of physics? You're rowing the boat, you know how the physics works here, and different laws of physics. So the fisherman is really kind of puzzled as to why is this guy asking me about physics? So the fisherman says, you know what? I don't know much about physics or laws of physics. And the professor says, you know what? If you don't know much about physics, 25% of your life has gone to waste. Then again, a few minutes down the line, the professor again asked this fisherman, hey, do you know much about marine biology? You work on the water, above the water, there's a whole life happening within. Do you know much about marine biology? And that was kind of a foreign term for the fisherman, marine biology. And the fisherman says, you know what? I don't know much about that either. So the professor says, if you don't know about all these things, 50% of your life has gone to waste. Again, a few minutes down the line, this time the professor asked the fisherman about, hey, do you know much about the financial markets, the mutual funds, and so on? And what did the fisherman say? It's like, no, he said, I don't. So the professor says, you know what? If you don't know these things, 75% of your life has gone to waste. By this time, they're almost halfway across the river. And now the fisherman asked the professor, do you know swimming? And guess what did the professor say? He said, no, I don't. The fisherman says, you know what? There's a hole in the boat. The boat is going to sink. 100% of your life has gone to waste. So, similarly, we have learned so many skills throughout our life. You look back, you've spent years and years getting formal education, thousands of dollars, so much resources in learning a lot of different things. Most of those things we are never going to use in our life. But at school, not at home, we have been taught how to manage your own mind, how to handle your emotions. It's such a basic thing. If you look at this, is something that every single human being should be taught how to handle their mind, how to handle their emotions. We have been told, don't get angry, don't get stressed, don't have those negative emotions. But we have not been taught what to do when the anger comes, what to do when the stress comes in, what to do when those strong emotions just take you over and you don't know what to do with it. Because as human beings, we all go through those things. And that is where, this meditation and breath work comes into the play. And I believe a lot of times people find meditation a bit hard to do. And, in Art of Living, we teach this sky breath meditation workshop. It's quite breath based. It's like, it's a lot of very, very amazingly powerful breathing exercises. Sometimes people come and they do share that, I've tried meditation, it's just not working. I sit with my eyes closed, and for 20 minutes, I'm daydreaming or I'm working on my to-do list. I'm just not able to concentrate. I'm not able to focus. So I think people have, there's a reason that, that not everyone is able to meditate, Because if there was an easier way, there's something where they could just sit and they could immediately get that experience, then it would be, I think, many more people will be open to it and would love to try it out. And that's where I found this, the breathing exercise is so powerful. Because if you see, there's a connection between breath and emotions. Have you observed how do we breathe when you're happy? Have you observed that?
It's funny. I think more of how how I'm breathing when I'm upset than I think about how I'm breathing when I'm happy. Actually, yeah. I don't really know how I'm breathing when I'm happy.
That's actually a good thing.
I know.
Happy.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention. Like, when I'm upset, I can notice my heart rate increasing. I can notice like how I'm huffing or only breathing into the like shallow breathing, when I'm upset. But the happy breathing, I don't really notice. I guess I'm breathing deeper, but am I breathing deeper?
I think you nailed it. It's like that's exactly what it is. No, that's exactly what it is. Like when you're angry, your breath is very fast. So when you're angry, suddenly it's just the breathing pattern becomes so fast. When you're happy, it's like very light, effortless breathing. And maybe that's why we don't notice that. We are not aware when we're happy how the breath is. And when you're sad, if you see, sometimes it's like you're sad or you're frustrated. It's like a long sigh. Have you observed that? We all do that. So there's a connection between breath and emotions. And with every, emotion is a corresponding breathing pattern. The interesting part is the reverse is also true. With the help of the breath, you can actually much better manage your emotions. And in this, the Art of Living course, the Art of Living program, we teach this very powerful breathing technique called the sky breath. About 20 to 25 minutes practice of that every day leaves you fresh and energetic for the entire day and kind of fills you with this life force energy. There's this ancient Sanskrit term called prana. It's Prana, prana. The exact English translation is like life force energy. And how we feel throughout the day is totally dependent on our prana. See, sometimes when you're feeling low, your mind starts getting more negative thoughts also. I don't know if you've observed that. When you're not feeling very good, you tend to get more negative thoughts. When your prana is high, when your spirits are high, you don't get those negative thoughts. So there's such an amazing connection. And it's like you could be sitting in the most comfortable chair in your house, doing nothing, but if your mind is filled with those thoughts of anger, worry, anxiety, after a few minutes you get drained. Physically also you get drained. So it's so important to maintain that life force in our system, life force energy. And for that, breath work is the key. Would you like to try one? Would you like to try one of the breathing exercises?
Absolutely.
Yes, please. Always happy to have an opportunity to feel happier.
Yes. Perfect. So I love that. And what we'll do is I kind of guide you through some small breath work. It's just the tip of the iceberg, actually, what we do in the course, but you'll love it. And after that, I'll guide you through a short few minutes meditation. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Sounds great.
So what we'll do is, Stacy and Eric, we'll just sit comfortably. We'll have loose fists like this. I show this. Okay. And as you breathe in, the hands go up and the fist will open up like this. The fist will open up like this. Let's all do it. Breathe in, the hands go up, fist open up. As you breathe out, hands come down, the fist close. And the key is we have to do this at a moderate pace. So it is like this.
So we're breathing in when we go up?
Yes.
So just for folks who are just listening to us and can't see us, so we're holding our fists like kind of near our cheeks, basically our elbows bent and the hands are by the cheeks. And then when we breathe in, we put our hands up with our hands open. And the in breath, right? We go up, and then on the out breath, we come back down again and the hands back into soft fists. Right?
Exactly.
Do I have it?
Okay. Perfect. And we breathe in, breathe out at a moderate pace. We do it at a bit forceful breathing, and the hands are going up and down at a moderate pace. So I'll just show it once again. So just like,
yeah.
Got it? Yes.
Pretty fast then.
Yes. So we'll be. Yeah, that's the pace.
Down, up, down,
exactly.
In, out. As far as the pace goes for those listening. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And when the hands go up, our fists open up, and the hands come down. Fists close. Yeah. Very nice. So I'll guide you through a few rounds of this, and then we can do a short guided meditation. Yes.
Yeah. How many times do you recommend in general people do that? How many rounds of that? Like how many times do you recommend doing that for?
Maybe about 10 to 15 breaths per round. Each round,
Okay.
about 10 to 15 breaths. That should be it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll close our eyes if possible. And we'll have loose fists by the shoulders. Just a normal breath in and breathe out. And breathe in, out. Hands up, down, up, down. Breathe in, out, in, out. Continue. And relax. You can relax your palms on your knees, palms facing the ceiling. And just relax completely. Your face is relaxed, having a gentle smile on your face. We'll do one more round. Loose fists by the shoulders. Just a normal breath in and breathe out. And breathe in, out. Hands up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Continue. And relax. Rest your palms on your knees, palms facing the ceiling, and just relax completely. We'll do one final round. Loose fists by the shoulders. Just a normal breath in and breathe out. And let's begin. Breathe in, out. Hands up, down, up, down, up, down. Continue. And relax. You may sit comfortably, resting your palms on your knees. Palms facing the ceiling. I'll guide you through a short meditation. Take a breath in and breathe out. Another breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your surroundings, of any noises that you may hear. Noise of the air conditioner, any traffic, people talking in the background. Just be aware. Accept all the noises. You're in complete acceptance with your surroundings. Take a breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your physical body. Your body is a wonderful gift given to you by nature. Take your attention to your feet, your knees, thighs and hips. Abdomen, stomach, chest, shoulders and hands, neck, face, and your whole body. Your whole body. Take a breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your thoughts. Good thoughts or bad thoughts. Just be aware. You're in complete acceptance with your thoughts. Whatever thoughts are coming, you're just letting them come. You're just observing them, not resisting anything. Take a breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your feelings. Good feelings or bad feelings. Just be aware. You are peace and joy. Peace and joy. Take a breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your emotions. Become aware of your thoughts. Become aware of your body and surroundings. Take a breath in and breathe out. And slowly and gradually, when you feel complete, you may open your eyes.
That's so fabulous. I have so many things I was thinking about, mostly about how awesome that was. But I gotta say, first of all, um, the breathing with the arms going up and down was way more impactful on my body than I ever expected. Like the so with I have more I've had more exposure to Chinese medicine with the idea of qi, and which I assume is just another version of prana.
It is.
I think okay, just to make sure my understanding is correct. And so I've gone to acupuncture, so I have an idea of like, you know, what it feels like to have the energy sort of being, you know, flowing and moving through the body. And that's such a simple exercise, and it was like jump started that whole like whooshing feeling of energy flowing through my body in this really like refreshing and energizing way. It was really it happened so fast. Like it just after the first round, I was like, ooh, wow, I feel awesome already. So that was cool.
And you know, I just that's the thing, Stacy. It's like the breath is the key, and what we did here was just like the tip of the iceberg of what we actually do in the sky breath. Sky breath is the key. I mean, around the globe, so much research has been going on in the art of living sky breath. And recently, there was a research done at the Yale University, and they did a research on students because a lot of students nowadays are suffering from anxiety and depression. I mean, it's so common. It should not be that common for our youth to be going through that, but it's so common actually. Uh, so they did a research. They had a control group of students go through the sky breath that teach an art of living, and then we had a control group of students go through the mindfulness based stress reduction. and then another control group did something else. And they found the sky breath to be the most effective in dealing with anxiety and being able to come out of it. And they saw the results instantaneously. And so that's why I think, seeing last August, I saw a report from CDC, Center for Disease Control. More than one third of American population was having symptoms of depression and anxiety. More than one third, and that's huge. So, I mean, we live in the most developed nation on the planet. We have all the comforts per se, physical comforts. But it's very clear to me that having physical comfort is one thing, having mental comfort is something completely different. And it's high time we attend. So this research, what they found was, you can even go to our Art of Living website and look up the research that has been done. One research that was done, they found out that 3 months practice of the sky was having the same effect of 3 months of antidepressants without any side effects for for depression patients, and all the data research on that. So a lot of research, and for me, I'm an engineer, and I kind of try to analyze everything. I just don't take something at the face value. And the more I said, it was a phase, like I started doing it, and you start seeing the benefits, right? And like you think that this is working for me. When I first learned it, I could see I was able to focus a lot more. When I was studying and all, I didn't have to spend that much time studying anymore. I was able to focus a lot more. And then at one point of time, I thought, what? I just don't want to keep this to myself. I want to share this with everyone. Everyone can benefit. So I kind of decided to become an instructor for Art of Living. And the more I got into it, I met so many different amazing folks around the globe, actually. And I've seen what kind of impact this has had on them. And my biggest inspiration is the founder of Art of Living, Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar. Art of Living is one of the world's largest volunteer-based organization. Right now, it's with presence in more than 150 countries around the globe, and about 400 million people's lives have been touched through programs around the globe. So it's such an inspiration. And when I first met Gurudev, there was many years ago, and sometimes you meet somebody and you just have this feeling of benevolence inside, right? You feel something nice about it, and that's how it was for me when I first met him. And then I got more involved, and he's been an inspiration for like millions of youth around the globe, millions of volunteers around the globe. And yet such humility, you ask him, what is your mission on, what is your purpose in life? What do you want to do? What is your mission? He says very simply that I want to see a smile on every person's face on the planet. And, it's so simple, it's so powerful, so impactful. And that's what actually inspired me. I'm like, I don't want to just keep living my life, focus on my job, my family, my I want to do something more for the humanity. And he's been such an a few years ago, Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar, he negotiated the peace between the Colombian government and the FARC rebels. I don't know if you know, but it was one of the world's longest lasting civil war. Millions of people had been killed and all that. And he kind of negotiated that. When the Iraq war was going on, our Art of Living volunteers in Iraq were doing amazing work with the rehabilitation and everything. So it's like wherever there's a need, Art of Living volunteers and all, they're there to kind of help. And that's what really got me into it. And it's not just about some meditation or breathing. There's a lot more to it. There's an element to it which I could really connect with. So that's what inspired me to get more into it.
Nice. I mean, the thing about the meditation, I mean, it's each individual, the fact that each individual has an opportunity to change how they feel for the better, as far as getting themselves out of. So what I think about too, when we're talking about the breathing and the unhappy breath versus the happy breath, is that there's like this, the more we're breathing in the shallow breath, it like reinforces itself, right? And it keeps us, and biologically, it keeps us in fight or flight or freeze all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, so we're always in this high alert, anxious mode, and we're more likely to be angry or to assume the worst of people or to get into fights or to run away rather than deal with issues. And so, just the more people who can access their they're being more grounded in the moment, and have these tools, like learning these tools like this is just, so fabulous. This institute exists, this, and that you're teaching these tools, these techniques and skills, because the more people who can, in the moment, like stop being going to anxiety or going to fight or flight, and can negotiate again, like with yourself as well as the person in front of you. I mean, that's making the world a better place right there. I found it so interesting how having the tool to do that is so valuable. And the other thing, the fact that you're offering all these classes, I got to say, like a lot of the people I talk to who decide to pursue meditation, they'll try an app or they'll try a YouTube experience. It's so much more effective with a live person. Like I've done those, offering classes like you do. And now the fact that everyone's more used to being on Zoom, and it works, just for me anyway, it works just as well on Zoom as it would be I'm sure it's probably even more amazing in person. And ideally one day we'll all be able to have giant group gatherings in person, and it'll be totally fine. And participating in these kind of meditative experiences, because the same is true of EFT. Like the more people you're doing it with, it expands the experience. It intensifies the experience. So certainly having someone guide me directly, a human to human, is so much more impactful than listening to an app, using an app or listening to a YouTube meditation. So just the offering these classes is really, I'm just going to encourage people who think they've tried meditation, it doesn't work for them, is to, try taking a class, try participating with a real person before assuming that that it's too hard, or that it's, you're not capable of doing it.
You actually just nailed it, completely nailed it, because that is number one. Like so many times I meet people and they're like, I've tried the app, it's not working, it's not, and nothing against the app, but I tell people that, would you be able to learn swimming watching an app? And they're like, so
yeah, it's a skill we need to learn. And when a child learns a skill, like they have people around them who, I feel like I'm a child when it comes to meditation. I need people around me to show me how it's done. And also I'm a massage therapist too. And there's this idea, it's called entrainment, where so when you are a parent with your baby, the baby's metabolism is still learning how to like regulate itself, right? And that if you hold the baby and you have a nice calm breath, the baby mirrors that. It mirrors your calm breath. And we actually do the same thing even when we're adults. We will mirror ourselves to the person in charge, right? And we'll if the person who is running the class is doing a certain kind of breathing and a certain kind of affect, you communicate that to the audience. And it's a human response, to be able to be entrained. So it's another opportunity, like just being with someone who can meditate is valuable all by itself. Just having that, and I assume then, like after having classes and after experiencing meditation and getting good at it, then you could probably go and use the app just fine. But initially, It makes total sense to be in a real class with a real person who can help get your body used to the skill.
And that's the whole purpose. We because you're not doing this because just you want it for the heck of it. We really want people to start benefiting out of it. And we found that when they have a live person to interact with, because each person is so unique, each person's life situation is so unique. Just having a one size fits all doesn't work. And when they have a live instructor to work with, who can guide you through the whole process, who can answer any questions along the way, who can connect with you at your level, that makes a huge difference. And it's just like once you take the program, as you said, hopefully one day we can all even start doing things in person. But until then, we are doing it on Zoom, but it's been equally effective actually on Zoom. Also, it's very effective. And what we do is once somebody takes a course, we teach this 3-day workshop. It's 3 hours each day. Usually it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And once you've taken the program, it's not like you're on your own. We have this community of like-minded people. Because what we found is many times people do something, they love it, and then life happens. So it's like, and what we found is for people to continue with their practices, when they have community of people who are like them, who are also doing the breath work, who's doing the breathing, who are passionate about that, they're much more likely to develop that as a long-lasting habit. And that's what our attention is like. It's not just if they do the course you're on your own. We kind of support them, we guide them even after they've taken the workshop, they've taken the course to continue with the practice. We have a group, we have sometimes instructor leading daily practices and all that. So it's just a lot of hand holding to get people on their own. And once they know that, I'm going to continue with it, they can take off. And it's like, what I found is it's so, um, something that you also mentioned, like it's our, how our metabolism affects a newborn's metabolism. We, as I found this as a society, we go out of our way to support people around us. But when it comes to ourselves, we sometimes give ourselves the last priority. Once it's a gentleman goes to the doctor and the gentleman says, what, doctor, I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling so low. I need to please do something. So the doctor checks everything and the doctor says, everything is okay. And then again, after a week, again, this gentleman goes to the doctor. It's like, I'm feeling very sad. I'm feeling very low. You have to do something. I cannot keep going like this. The doctor does some tests on him. And on the test, everything comes normal. Everything checks out. So the doctor says, everything is nothing coming in the test. So the gentleman says, but I'm feeling very low. I feel sad. I don't feel like doing things in my life. I don't have the drive in my life. I don't feel the drive in my life. So the doctor says, what? This is circus, just a few blocks from here, the circus that is there. Why don't you go and sit on the circus and watch the clown there? And all the things that the clown does will make you happy. So the gentleman says, doctor, I am that clown. So it's so true,
Yeah.
Because you're very funny, you're entertaining everyone, you're taking care of people around us. But how often are we prioritizing our own happiness? How often are we prioritizing our own well-being? And it has to, once this was before COVID, I was teaching this program here in Indianapolis. And after the program got over, the next week we had a follow-up session. So one of my participants had come and she was sharing that, Shalin, I want to share something very interesting with you. So I'm like, yeah. She's like, when I did the program and I was feeling so happy, and for the first 3-4 days, I was kind of doing a breathing every day. Last couple of days, I kind of slacked out. And it's like, she's like, yesterday, I was yelling at my kid, my 10-year-old, about something. And my 10-year-old came and she's like, mommy, why don't you do your breathing first? And we'll talk more after that.
Boy, kids are the wisest, right?
They are. I'm a parent. I have 2 kids. It's really interesting. The parents, they think they want the kids to have the best values, and they want to teach them all the right things. But kids don't do what you tell them to do. They do what they see you doing. If parents are, I got as a gift from my mom, and I think if you keep telling your kids be happy, manage it, they're not going to do that. But if they see how my parents are happy, how they're not getting stuck in small things, how they're not letting the negative emotions take over them, those are the skills and values we need to imbibe in our kids moving forward. That's the best gift we can give to our kids, I believe. So.
And often our kids have a stronger connection to their own inner wisdom, something that we often forget with what we're taught of how to behave as an adult. So often our kids it's worthwhile to listen to our children when they have those kinds of observations to make, because they're often they're often clearer than we are.
They are.
Yeah. As far as just a quick little aside also about taking care of ourselves, the thing, and actually as far as kids, and to follow up with that, one thing I love also about that particular breathing technique is so many people, we lose, like kids are so in their bodies, right? They're so they're connected to their bodies in a way we get into our heads and we get into the outside world and we get distracted. And that breath work, that it's like a fast way to get a better connection to your own body. I feel like I could feel my body vibrating a little bit after that breath work. And that often we don't know what we want because we don't have connection to our body, because so much of our wisdom and our intuition comes from our connection to our body. So often like the clown who just said, I'm feeling so low. and he didn't know why he was feeling low. He just knew that he was. And that I often find like doing that kind of breath and reconnecting to the body and then sitting quietly, that's when you can really hear your body saying things like, oh my God, you need to do this every day. Or, oh my gosh, you need to rest. Or, oh my gosh, you need to, please give me better food. It becomes much clearer what we need to feel better just by taking that time to breathe and do the meditation and then just listen to what we need to make ourselves happy.
And Stacey, if you loved what we just did a few minutes ago, you're going to love the sky breath. It is like,
well, I like what you just did just now, so I'm pretty excited already.
It's like, first time when I did the sky breath, it was like I was knocked out and I slept like a baby after that. And I'm like, whoa, what just happened? I'd never felt so light in my life before. And it's just like few minutes of the sky breath every day. It just changes everything for you. And it's, and I said, I was seeing the benefits, but I was still a bit skeptic. So I kind of got into the science of it, like how it works and what it does and all. It's phenomenal, just phenomenal. I was just talking to one of my good friends. She's also an art of living instructor. She's a doctor. She's a research scientist, and they're starting a research on how the sky breathing changes the gene structure, the genome structure of the person who's practicing it. It is at that level. It's not just you do some breath. It goes to the deepest level, how it changes the gene expression, how it improves the immunity, and this whole COVID thing and all. We all have become so conscious about having a stronger immunity and what it can do for you. So it helps on so many deeper levels, and that's, as I was sharing earlier, it's just not some breathing exercise. There's a lot more to it. It's like a full package in a way, that does the trick.
Well, and I hope by now people who listen to us talk and and all our practitioners on our podcast is that people, it's just as you said, you feel like meditation isn't, it has to be something people have to do something like that in this day and age because people think, oh, I'm stressed out. But it's like all our pain and our illness is from being stressed out. Like it's not like, oh, I just have stress and that's what I live with. No, like that's the fundamental problem with life right now is that stress. And so like, oh, this is just a nice stress reliever. Like, what do you mean just?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Like that's the thing. That's the thing. Like that's all we should be. That's like this should be a priority for all of us. Is all the tricks and techniques and opportunities we have to be centered and not stressed is going to raise our quality of life all by itself. I'm not surprised about actually the DNA thing does surprise me. I've done other reading about like breathing and lowering or reducing stress and boosting your immunity. I know I've read before, but interestingly, this also overlaps with some I was reading about, I think I mentioned it before on this podcast. There's Amy Cuddy's work. She's a sociologist who found that there's these power poses that if you hold them for at least 2 minutes, you change all your hormones totally change into like positive hormones. And one of the power poses is in fact raising your arms over your head to the sky, like standing strong with your hands up, just like we did with the breath, and stand there, and it changes your whole brain chemistry. Mm-hmm. So with that plus the breathing added in, it makes sense to be like a supercharged method of activating your immune system and apparently changing your genes in a good way. But it's the thing with genes has been so interesting to me about how, like, I was taught that I'm old enough that I was taught that genes they're fixed. We're born with our genes, and that's all there is to it, and to know that genes we can with our minds and with our activities can change how our genes express is just a miracle to me.
It is, and it's just like I love what you said about making this a priority in our life. And I always tell people that it's we brush our teeth every day. That is dental hygiene, and we do this breathing exercise that we do every day. That's the mental hygiene, and we have to do both the things. And you do dental hygiene. You brush your teeth so you don't get a tooth decay. You don't wait for the tooth to get decayed, so you start brushing after that. Same thing with our mind. We do this breathing exercise so we don't have a breakdown. You don't have to wait for something wrong to happen, a breakdown to happen for you to start doing these things. This is something you do. It's a preventive care. It's a preventive, holistic care where you do it so you don't end up in that kind of situation. And it's like, it's, it really, it pains me sometimes, like what, because teaching this, I've traveled before COVID. I used to travel quite a bit and teach. I've taught these programs in 46 different cities around the country. And I've traveled so much in here, taught so many different places, and meet so many people. And just it pains what to see, that there's a healthier way, there's a healthier alternative to not go through those pain things and to not to go through the sufferings and all. A few years ago, I was actually in Boston teaching a workshop, and this guy was on my course. He's a music teacher in one of the elementary schools in Boston area, and he was sharing that he was just feeling very low in his life. Uh, he got a divorce and he's going through a lot in his life and just having really tough time. And it's like nothing was working out in my life. And he was sharing, one day I was driving my car and just he said, just wanted to take my life. I wanted to just drive the car off the cliff. I did not see any purpose in my life. And it's like I was about to drive the car off the cliff. I thought, let me just call my mom and just talk to her for the one last time. And he was like, I was talking to my mom, and out of nowhere, my mom mentioned about this, the art of living skybreath. She's like, I've heard about this. Out of nowhere, she mentioned that. And this guy's like, I thought maybe it's a sign from the universe. Let me try this out before I do anything with my life. And he came to the program, and the last day he was sharing that, I just feel like had I had these tools in my life a few years ago, I would not have to go through all this crap that I went through in my life. And it's like those suicidal thoughts, those negative thoughts don't even come in my mind anymore. And that is the effect, that is the impact of this breath work. And it's not just something that you do because you're having some negative emotions. You do it because it kind of affects all aspects of your life. You become a better employee. Nowadays, so many companies, so many corporations are getting art of living programs in their companies and doing for their employees. You become a better employee, you become a better husband or wife or spouse. Your relationship, all the aspects of your life get affected and improve when you are happy from it. And that this happiness is what I think we all need to aim for, that inner happiness. Not usually our happiness is associated when we buy a new phone or buy a new car or new house, and it is short-lived. If my phone was going to make me happily ever after, I would not be, after it's not like, but it makes you a short-lived happiness. But when you tap into that inner source of your joy, inner source of your happiness, breath is the key. And then you don't do things as pursuit of happiness, but you do things as an expression of happiness.
Yes, that's lovely. I'm so many things. I love all of that. I mean, yes, 1,000 times. And I guess the thing I actually wanted to say is a little bit of an aside to all of that is go back to the beginning of it is like the person who was making the phone call who wished he had done all the things to avoid all of the suffering. I realized that we really aren't. We're taught how to drive a car. We're taught how to do math. We're taught how to manage our checkbook. Hopefully, we're not taught how to take care of ourselves. Like we're literally like we're not. You think, oh well, you should just know how to take care of yourself. Like, no, you shouldn't necessarily just know how to take care of yourself. Actually, it's something that's taught. Yeah. And that I did a virtual retreat this past winter with about 60 women, I guess it was, and we had all kinds of classes. And I did a class, an EFT class on helping with the belief that we deserve to take care of ourselves. And every single person who attended my class said, I have a deep-seated anxiety, fear, about that I shouldn't take care of myself, that I'm not deserving. Everyone else deserves attention but me. Everyone else deserves my time but me. I shouldn't waste time on myself. And that I guess I wonder how much just jumping into meditation and doing the kind of techniques you're talking about can help people like unburden themselves of those beliefs, you know, that they aren't worthy, that they don't deserve the time, that they can't, everyone else is more important than they are. Because I feel like that's like if anyone was going to work on themselves in any way, I would encourage them to start with that point, that belief. Because often when we have resistance to things like meditation or exercise, it's often there's like a deep-seated belief that we're not worth the time, you know, that other things are always more important than we are, feelings of unworthiness or whatever. And going after that belief is the first order of business, seems so important to me, so that we can develop habits like the ones that you're offering. But I do wonder how just even just like making ourselves, quote unquote, just diving in and saying, I'm going to commit to doing this type of meditation and breath work for this, you know, for a month. And I can see we're just doing the work will in fact soften those beliefs maybe. And if you change our DNA, you know, why can't it change our beliefs?
Exactly. And that's it, you know, sometimes we have to discipline ourselves to start something which is not very pleasant. But when you start doing something that you're really enjoying, you just want to do it more and more of that. And that's what I've found with so many of my participants. Like they just love doing it. It's not something, oh, I have to do by breathing. It's they love, you know, it's like you love it. And when you love doing something, you just want to do more into it. Like once they do the programs, they want to dive deeper. We also have something called a silent retreats. So once people take the program, they can even take a more advanced workshop where you're in silence part of the day. It's all virtual now. It's on Zoom. And throughout the program workshop, you do like really deep meditations and all that, and you're in silence. It's so rejuvenating and so cleansing. So people want to go deeper. And you know, nowadays, I think that people are becoming more aware of that. People, it's simply put, people are becoming smarter. They are realizing that, you know, there's a better way of living life, and they're realizing that, you know, I have to do this thing. It's not like people are not stupid anymore. They know that, you know, this is, you know, I have to do something about my health, about my mental health and all that. So that awareness is way more than I would say maybe 15 years ago. It's way more than that, way more than that. So, which is, I think, a good thing, which is a good thing for us that people have.
It's especially exciting to be in your position and watching this more and more people who are now ready, because that's, I know as a practitioner, that's always the exciting moment when someone comes to you and says, okay, I'm ready to change, I'm ready to feel healthier, I'm ready to take charge of my happiness and my health and do what I need to do. And it's often, and it's funny because, you know, unfortunately with Western medicine, often, you know, there's literally a prescription for feeling better. Like, you know, you have,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And people are like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want, but when the prescription is stuff that just makes you feel good and happy and empowered, then, you know, it's like once you get started on the holistic path I mean, as I said, Western medicine absolutely has its place, but it's actually not good at keeping us healthy. It's good when the catastrophe hits, right? Like you were saying. So, you know, getting involved with the not maintenance, what's the word? I can't think of the word, you know, just taking care of yourself all along, that when it makes you feel good, then it's self-perpetuating. It's easier
Exactly.
once you get the habit and you feel great after doing it, then it's much easier to keep doing it. Yeah.
You know, it's like it's good thing how people are changing and becoming more aware. I mean, we nowadays if you talk to people, they put so much more attention. There's a lot more awareness about what we eat, the food we eat. More and more people have started eating organic stuff, more fresh fruits and vegetables and all. People are so much more aware of what we eat, but we only eat 2 or 3 meals in a day. But our breath is with us every single moment. And it's
Mm.
high time we also put attention on our breath and how we breathe and how we do things. It has such a huge impact on it. Like, you know, uh, we barely use the full capacity of our lungs. We use 30-40% of the capacity of our lungs. And when we do this breathing exercise and all, actually it increases the lungs capacity. We have more oxygen going in, more prana going in, and it has an impact on you. It's simple.
Awesome. I know, I'm so excited. Like I often have time in between clients that I can just take 5 minutes to just do some sky breathing and get re-energized, because it's just so easy. I mean, it's just easy, and it has like an instant impact. I love it. I love its simplicity and its effectiveness. It's really lovely. Yeah, so it sounds like you offer a lot of workshops. So what's your website and how can people find you?
It is artofliving.org, artofliving.org. And you can go on the website. They teach the course that I was talking about is called the Sky Breath meditation. And that is the crux of our program. It's the powerful breathing exercise. So you can check us out, come to one of our workshops. And it's just, I tell people that, uh, anytime anyone who does the program, they always have one regret. And that is, I should have done it long time ago. And it's like that you do it. It's just the best investment you'll make for yourself. You're mentioning about uh, educating what all we learn in school, like in our life. One of them is managing the checkbook. And it's that the thing is that we see where will I invest my money when I get the most ROI, return on investment. And we've done so. And it's high time we invest in ourselves. Period. We have to invest in ourselves. Because if that investment is strong, the ROI will be humongous.
Absolutely. And we make the world a better place by the energy, the positive energy we put out from our own, by bringing ourselves to a place of contentment and happiness. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that, people say, what can I do to make the world a better place? Like, start with you. It's always start with you.
Start with you and start, I live in Indiana. So when you drive on the freeways here, all you see on the both sides of the freeways, drop dead gorgeous cornfields. It's cornfields after cornfields, all flat land and cornfields. That's all you see. So, we have every year when you're a state fair, there's this competition for who has the best quality corn. And this one farmer would always win the competition. Always every year he would win the competition. So when the media interviewed them, they're like, "What's his secret? How do you always have the best quality corn?" So he says, "I have the best quality corn seeds, and I not only I use it in my farm, I give it out to all my neighboring farms. The same quality corn seeds I give it out to all my neighbors." So the reporter asked them, "But don't they also enter in the same competition as you do?" So it's like, "Yeah, they do." But then it's like, "But don't you know how the corn farming works? There's so much cross-pollination. If I'm using the best quality corn seeds and if they're using not so good, my corn also gets affected." And I think it's the same thing with us. It's that when you're happy, you also have to make sure that happiness spreads around you, that joy spreads around you. Because if you're happy and someone is miserable, they'll make sure that he also gets part of that misery, right? We all have seen that. So it's this is the thing, making yourself a happy person and making this world a happier and a better place to live.
Nice. I was going to ask for if you had any last words of wisdom, but that was pretty darn wise all by itself. So unless you have something else to say, we can stop there.
I'll just say, for me, my biggest inspiration is Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. You can check him out on his Instagram or Twitter. Like, amazing wisdom. And one of his videos I was watching, and he was saying that very beautiful. This was from many years ago when he was giving a talk in Santa Monica, California. And he says that life is too short to keep solving problems. And then you just wake up and move on, and the problems will get solved by itself. And that's really struck with me many times in a life. It's so focused on the problems. And when you realize that there's something bigger that is taking care of you, that has got your back. And just every single of your audience, I would just like to tell them that take care of yourself. Do some breath work. This is something you owe to yourself. That's all.
Lovely. Thank you so much for talking with us today. This is really wonderful. I feel great. I can't wait for people to get a chance to listen to your meditation and check out your work.
Yes, thank you so much.
And thank you, Eric and Stacy. You guys have been very nice and I loved my time in having this discussion with you guys. It was just phenomenal.
That's great. Thank you so much. And thank you, listeners. Till next time.